Alright, so here we got the Dynacorn full frame rail for an early Mustang. I'll put the part number in the description. I don't remember it offhand, but I just kind of wanted to get a video out there to show what you get. This bolt doesn't come with it. Let's take that out. But alright, we can start at the other end. So anyway, so you got the torque box. There's also a top to the torque box that comes with it. And so this, we're just going to check the metal thickness here. This metal is about 14 gauge. Yeah, 14 gauge on the torque box. And if we go 14 on the this bracket, that's part of the bracket that holds the spring in place, it's thicker. It's like 1/8 inch. It's bigger than 14 anyway. Here it's like 1/8 inch, which is pretty beefy. Up here, same deal. It's like 14 gauge. Frame rail itself, it's little. I call it 14 because it's, you know, that's 1/8. So this is 14 gauge, 1/8 of an inch. And yeah, so we'll look down. It's got the seat belt bolt in there and that snubber mount thing. That's 14 as well. You get down to this end, and got one little thing I'd like to modify. It's just in here. I want to add some weld, because when they make it, they weld it from the top, but they don't weld it on the bottom. But the one cool thing I've seen previous shorter frame rail, this inner bracket was 2 pieces. On this one it's 1 big piece, which looks a little beefier. And here's your weld on top here, but yeah, it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, so it's not a bad idea to finish that off. So yeah, so you got bracketry in here for that hold down strap bracket thing, and bracket in here maybe for exhaust hanger. Got a bolt nut welded down there. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but should come in handy. We got some locator hole there. The back of it, I'm pretty sure you got to flatten out. So we'll roll it over here. It does come with these rubber bushings. And on this side there's a parking brake bracket, which on an early Mustang is a little different. And oh yeah, before we leave the rear shackle, let's measure this inner goodness here. Is well, it's thicker than 14 gauge anyway, so I'm going to call it, well, probably 12 gauge. It doesn't look like 1/8 of an inch here, but it's pretty darn close. Anyway, we go up to the front, and you can see everything's kind of spot welded after it got tack welded. And I'm going to take my bolt out here, and I've come up with a little mod, because the way it comes from them is like this. So there's this hole here, which isn't like the factory one. Factory obviously is flush. and then it's got a bracket thingy, kind of a horseshoe shaped bracket that holds, kind of supports the bolt where it goes in. So I got to thinking, and I thought it'd be nice, like it'll work, you know. Hold on, let me make it not go bang. Like your bolt will be down in there, but I think, like, I don't know, water and dirt and everything's just going to collect in there. So plus the other thing is here's the factory style bolt, and if it comes through it's going to stick out over here, but if it's more the factory location, it'll be good. It'll just be a little nicer. So I guess you could get shorter bolts, but anyway, my little plan is to I'm gonna finish this up later, but just putting in a sleeve here. I'll get it all assembled and then I'll describe it. So here's my little modification idea. We've to make it kind of flush, we're going to eventually weld all this in and grind it down. But all we have is a washer with a 1/2-inch hole that fits inside the hole, and then a bigger washer behind it with a sleeve piece of tubing, and then inside the tubing's going to butt up against this other washer, and then we can tack that to the bracket. But anyway, that way it'll be nice and flush and maybe a little stronger. Yeah, so that's just a little modification. Then it'll look a little more like a factory rail from the outside, be a little stronger maybe, and I'll see how it goes. I may add a few more spot welds or stitch welds in here, make it a little stronger, although it's got quite a few spot welds, so maybe that's good. Anyway, it's pretty beefy overall. It's seems, you know, strong as anything, so it should be all right. Yeah, let's get a better look over here at this end of it. So it's got like one folded over bracket welded in, and then this other bracket inside welded in, and that's all spot welded. And yeah, and there's your flange to go against your rocker. My other plan is to notch this out, and when I take the old frame rail out, I'm just going to drill a location hole right in the rocker panel with a really long 1/2-inch drill bit, and then I get a really long 1/2-inch bolt to help me locate the frame rail, just as kind of one of the many ways to make sure it goes in the right place. Alright, so we're going to take a few measurements for you folks out there, just of the Dynacorn frame rail here for a 64 to 70 Mustang. I guess that's what these are sold for. So if we go, we're kind of in the middle of that bolt hole, and we measure straight across. We got 51 3/4. And let's see, let's measure across the bottom here. So basically 10.5 to the edge of the torque box. And yeah, this pocket, it's like, let me get this magnet out of here now. This pocket is like 3 1/8. When I stuck my leaf spring in there, there was a little bit of wiggle room, so might need a washer when the time comes. And what else is good to know? So this big hole right on the end here looks like 7 3/8 to the middle of the hole, and then 10 3/8 to the middle of this welded in nut. And if we keep going, 34 3/4 to the middle of this rubber bump stop here. And let's get a measurement of this. It'll be upside down, but you get the picture. So 7 1/2. Well, 7 1/2, and then one more 1/16. So I guess that's 9/16. And just for kicks, this is like 3 3/4 here, the flange, where the seatbelt is. It's over 4, about 4 1/4. Then the further back you go, it's like, 3, less than 3/4, 3 5/8, something like that. 3 1/2. You get down to here, it's 3 1/2, and then this big flangey part is 4 3/4. Then just under 3 1/2, something like that. 3 1/4, 3 3/8. Anyway, just so you know what you're looking at if you want to get one of these. You got to watch out for like sharp little spot weld flash that'll hurt you if you grab it. And see the welds here. Oh yeah, well I did that previously. Anyway, that's the scoop. Enjoy. Good luck with your project. Okay, a couple more measurements on these rear frame rails. From the end of the lip to the middle of the hole, we got 11 inches. And that, all the way back is bang on 58. Yeah, 58. And let's check the other one. We got, yeah. So 11. Let's get this out of the way. 11 1/8. Bang on 11. Well, that's not a big deal. The main thing is, what's this hole in relation to the back hole, right? So basically 47 inches, bang on. Let's do the same thing to the other. Try and line up this magnet. Sounds like a cardinal. And basically 47. Let's see if I can focus. Yeah, 47-ish. It slipped a little bit. I'm gonna call that 47. I guess the best way to measure it would be with a tram gauge and all that stuff, but anyway, something to work with. Yeah, so here's the top of the torque box part, that angled piece. Here you can see it's kind of layered inside, and that's spot welded too, so it's actually got a bead in there, and then beads here on the bottom. I forget. I think this gap is normal, just to let water drain out, I guess. Then inside you've got some more spot welds and that kind of thing. But yeah, overall pretty sturdy. I think that's it. Anyway, we'll see. Just thought it was a good idea to get, you know, close up, because their website's good, but it just shows a picture, you know. It doesn't tell you anything about how thick the steel is. Like, you know, here this is 10 gauge. What holds the, you know, the spring in place, and so that's even, well, yeah, I guess it's more like 1/8 inch. Let's try it here. Oh yeah, sorry, it's more 1/8 inch. But anyway, that way you know too, if you got a weld on it, what you're dealing with.